Imagine waking up one morning, looking at your bank account, and realizing that despite working hard for years, your wealth barely moves. The numbers are stagnant. You've saved, you've budgeted, you've even tried investing, but somehow real financial freedom feels just out of reach. Why does this happen to so many people? And why do a few seemingly ordinary individuals starting at the same place manage to build wealth that grows quietly, steadily, almost invisibly over decades? The answer isn't about luck, inheritance, or even financial IQ alone. It's buried deeper, inside your mind, your habits, and the invisible scripts you follow about money every single day. Hey, I'm Joshua, and this channel is about one thing: understanding how money responds to human behavior. We talk about the psychology behind saving, investing, and building income slowly, especially the kind that rewards patience over time. No hype, no shortcuts, just clear thinking and better financial habits. And if this way of thinking about money resonates with you, consider subscribing, because here we focus on the habits and mindset that help money grow quietly over time. Today, we're going to explore the psychology behind long-term wealth, and more importantly, why most people never achieve it. Now, let me explain. Let's start with a truth that few want to admit. Building lasting wealth isn't primarily about income. It's about identity. What you earn matters, yes, but more than that, who you see yourself as shapes every financial decision you make. You can double your income tomorrow, but if your identity doesn't shift, your financial outcomes will remain almost the same. Think about it this way. If someone believes deep down that rich people are greedy or that money corrupts people, every time they earn more, they might unconsciously sabotage it. Subscriptions they don't need, lifestyle upgrades that exceed their means, impulsive purchases triggered by social comparison. These are the behaviors of someone whose money identity hasn't aligned with long-term wealth. Now pause for a moment and ask yourself, do your daily choices reflect someone building lasting wealth or someone surviving paycheck to paycheck? Most people are trapped in what I call the income illusion. They assume that increasing earnings automatically leads to financial security. But history and behavioral research tell a different story. Real wealth grows quietly. It compounds. It rewards patience, discipline, and, crucially, consistent small actions over decades. Those who fail to achieve it often chase quick fixes, tips, or hot stocks, hoping for exponential growth in months, not years. But wealth is less like a sprint and more like planting an oak tree. You water it daily, give it sunlight, prune it occasionally, and decades later, it towers above everything else. Let's break this down further. There are 3 subtle psychological barriers that prevent most people from building long-term wealth. First is instant gratification bias. The human brain is wired to favor immediate pleasure over delayed reward. That's why subscriptions, gadgets, luxury brands, and social media lifestyles feel irresistible. Spending now gives dopamine, saving doesn't. And here's the kicker. The people who build wealth consistently aren't necessarily earning more. They are delaying gratification systematically. They see the thrill of compounding dividends, the satisfaction of a portfolio quietly growing, and the peace of financial security as more rewarding than a momentary splurge. Second is status comparison. It's easy to feel poor when you scroll through curated social media feeds of friends driving new cars, traveling to exotic destinations, or posting about financial wins. This comparison traps many in a cycle of trying to keep up rather than invest for the long term. Wealth psychology research shows that people who define success by their internal goals rather than external signals are far more likely to accumulate it. Here's a reflective question for you. When you buy something new, is it to improve your life or to signal status to others? The third barrier is short-term thinking disguised as strategy. Many think they are investing wisely when in reality they are making decisions driven by fear, hype, or emotion. They sell when the market dips, buy when it spikes, and constantly tinker with their portfolio. The result? They capture a tiny fraction of growth and often underperform the market over decades. Contrast this with someone who embraces a long-term mindset, investing consistently in dividend-paying stocks, reinvesting the earnings, and letting the compounding do its quiet work. Patience becomes not just a tactic, but a core aspect of identity. Now, here's a subtle insight most people miss. Wealth isn't built in extraordinary moments. It's built in ordinary, repeated actions. Skipping a morning coffee to invest the money. Automatically redirecting a percentage of income into a dividend portfolio. Resisting lifestyle inflation even when paychecks increase. These small choices, repeated for years, accumulate into something that looks almost magical from the outside. Now I want you to consider two individuals. Both start earning $60,000 per year at age 25. One spends every raise, upgrades every gadget, and compares themselves to neighbors. The other delays gratification, invests in a diversified dividend portfolio, and keeps lifestyle inflation minimal. By age 50, the first person may have millions in cumulative income but negligible net worth. The second person could quietly own a portfolio that generates passive income exceeding $100,000 annually, enough to live comfortably and make deliberate choices without financial stress. The difference isn't knowledge, it's psychology, it's habit, and identity alignment. Let's pause and reflect. Which person are you more like today? And if you want to shift, what's the first identity-level decision you can make this week? Now, I want to talk about a hidden truth. Your financial habits are a mirror of your self-concept. If you see yourself as someone who never has enough, you'll likely act in ways that prove it. But if you internalize the belief that you are a long-term wealth builder, your actions, sometimes subtly, almost invisibly, align with that. You'll naturally avoid impulse purchases. You'll prioritize reinvestment over consumption. Yes, you'll embrace patience because it fits who you are, not because some guru told you to. It's also worth noting the power of compounding, not just in money, but in psychology. Every time you make a disciplined choice, you reinforce an identity loop. Action strengthens belief, and belief strengthens action. Dividends reinvested, savings left untouched, knowledge applied consistently, all compound over time. Wealth becomes not a pursuit, but a byproduct of who you have become. Here's a reflective exercise. Imagine yourself 10 years from now. Are you still chasing instant gratification, or have you trained your mind to value quiet growth and compounding over noise? Visualize the calm security of a portfolio steadily generating income, giving you freedom of choice and peace of mind. That vision alone changes present behavior if you let it. Another key point is mental bandwidth allocation. People obsessed with short-term market news, trends, or lifestyle upgrades spend precious cognitive energy on things that do not create wealth. Wealthy individuals focus their attention on decisions that truly matter. Decisions like consistent saving, investment allocation, and learning slowly but steadily. They accept that not every choice will feel thrilling, but the cumulative effect over decades is enormous. It's tempting to think that there's some secret formula, an investment tip, a hot stock, a quick side hustle. But the brutal reality is that most people never reach substantial wealth because they don't address the underlying psychology. They fixate on tactics instead of identity. They chase novelty instead of consistency. They see money as a tool for status instead of freedom. Here's another subtle insight. Building wealth changes your relationship with fear. Fear of market volatility, fear of missing out, fear of judgment, all decrease when your identity aligns with patience and consistency. You no longer react impulsively, you act deliberately. This mindset is rare, but it's the invisible engine behind long-term financial success. And yes, investing in dividend-paying stocks or other long-term instruments is part of this equation, but it's not the magic. The real magic lies in quiet, repeated behavior, guided by an identity that values growth over instant gratification, freedom over approval, and patience over panic. Now, let's consider lifestyle inflation, a silent killer of wealth. Most people think, I deserve more, every time they get a raise. It's natural but dangerous. The wealthy approach raises differently. They maintain or slightly increase lifestyle, but the majority of extra income goes into investments. That's why someone making $80,000 a year with a disciplined investment plan can far outpace someone earning $150,000 who spends every dollar. Reflect on your own life. When your income grows, where does the extra money go? Consumption or investment? This simple self-audit reveals a lot about your long-term financial trajectory. Finally, let's address the emotional aspect. Building wealth over decades isn't glamorous. It can feel slow. Yes, very slow, even invisible. But here's the paradox. The slower it feels, the more powerful it becomes. The daily act of choosing, saving, reinvesting, and ignoring external noise quietly rewires your brain and your life. You're not chasing money. You're becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts it. So, what does this mean for you today? It means that wealth starts in the mind. It's built in decisions invisible to most observers. It grows quietly, steadily, and without fanfare, but for those who persist, it's unstoppable. Align your habits with your desired identity. Delay gratification not as a chore, but as a proof of who you are. Focus on consistent, compounding actions that build real financial freedom. Before we close, here's a reflective challenge for you. Look at one financial habit this week. Is it identity affirming or identity eroding? Is it moving you toward long-term wealth or simply giving short-term comfort? Make one conscious adjustment and notice how it feels. Even small changes ripple over time. Remember, wealth isn't built in grand gestures, but it's built in consistent alignment between who you are and what you do. You don't just save money, you train your mind. You don't just invest, you cultivate patience and discipline. And over time, the quiet accumulation of these choices will give you a freedom most people only dream of. If this perspective resonated with you, consider reflecting in the comments about one identity shift you can make today. Or explore more about the psychology behind money and habits in my related videos. The path to long-term wealth is as much about becoming the right person as it is about the right numbers. And when your identity aligns, your wealth will inevitably follow.